All right. We are live. What up, Bubba? What you think, Bubba? Bacteria going to be a good subject to talk about today? Kevin, what's up, my man? Yeah, I want to get some of the confusion about bacteria away from people. Make it a little more simple, break it down. So, Kev, how you doing? How's everything? Yeah, I'll start talking about the bacteria once we get some more people in here. You already heard it, Bubba. I'm what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to contact um, either Dr. Tim, but I'm sure Dr. Tim won't tell. Um, I'm gonna try to find out the specific strains that they use. Just depends, Bubba. Um, I'm sure Microbacter 7 has 1 to 2 strains, maybe 3. Um, and see, that's the problem. Hey, what's going on, brother? That's the problem with most of these bacterias in a bottle is that they don't tell you how many strains that actually come in the bottle. They just say it's nitrifying bacteria or you know bacteria additive. So that's kind of annoying. It'd be really nice if they said, hey, there's this strain of bacteria inside. This is your bacteria that eats the ammonia. There's this strain of bacteria. This is the strain that eats your nitrite. And then there's this strain of bacteria, and this is the strain that eats your nitrate or produces your nitrate. You know what I mean? So, because in the industry I worked in, I'm pretty good, Kevin. Doing good. In the industry I was in, we also used bacteria for the soils, for the roots, and the bacteria supplements we would get, um, each bottle, it would be spores. It'd be dry bacteria compared to like Microbacter 7 and stuff like that, which are um, actual live bacteria compared to spores. But in every bottle, you would have a listing of each strain of bacteria that's available and how many spores per square foot it provides, or per gram. You know what I mean? And I would like to see that in the bacteria bottles for our aquarium so we can understand what's there. Hey Tim, how you doing? Sorry about the Darth Vader. You guys know I gotta have my vape. But yeah, it'd be much more interesting to see that. So that way you can at least have an understanding, like what's the difference between Dr. Tim's one and only? What's the difference between that and Microbacter 7, the Aquaforest Pro S or the Bio S and the Chem, all those different ones and what they have inside of them? Because I know some of those um, bottles actually include a carbon source for the bacteria as well. Yep. If anybody wants to jump in, more than welcome to. Feeling kind of lonely over here. Let's see. Kevin. That should be better now. You got a wrench now, Kevin. Yeah, and I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about water changes in bacteria. What's up, Commander? How you doing, brother? Yeah, so with people having too many, doing too many water changes and that causing a potential crash, and people think that's because of you actually taking out the bacteria out of the water column. Well, that's actually not true. 99% of your bacteria are going to be on a surface. So on your rock, your biological material, so your media like Marine Pure, your Pond Matrix, Biohome, whatever, BioBalls, whatever it is that you use. Your glass, your sand, your back walls, they like to be on surfaces. They're not actually floating around in your water. Um, and you can potentially have a crash from doing too much water changes, not because you're removing the bacteria, but you're removing the actual dissolved organics that the bacteria feed off of, which is in your water column. That's the big difference. You're actually starving out your bacteria by changing out too much of your water at once or too often. We'll get there, Bubba. We'll get there. Actually working on writing an email to Aquaforest to see if they would provide us with some information on what strains of bacteria is actually inside of their bottle. So we shall see. I know Dr. Tim for sure won't give out that information because I think it was Mr. Saltwater Tank TV talked to him and trying to find out, and they said, "Nope, you're not getting that info." Yeah, Biospira works. It's not the best. I've cycled a couple of tanks with Biospira. Had some quick cycles. Um, it's all right. I definitely like the BioS from Aquaforce because that's what I used on this tank on the Nuvo. And none of the other bottled bacterias I used caused my sand to actually produce hydrogen sulfide bubbles. Um, so I know that bottle has nitrifying bacteria and denitrifying bacteria, which is awesome. Because if you guys remember, um, I got onto one of the chats and I was saying that I was getting a crap ton of hydrogen sulfide bubbles coming out of the sand bed because I didn't expect that, you know, because that's something you have from a really well-established tank that has um, those low flow, low oxygen zones for the denitrifying bacteria to, you know, settle and multiply there. And it happened to me like a week after I started using that BioS. So hopefully they tell me. Tim, with skimmers, some of them do, yeah, have a break-in period, but I don't know. Usually, it said for the Tunisia I got, it said that it has a 2-week break-in period, but it was skimming for me the next day. But I gave it a good vinegar bath before I put it into the tank, just to get those machining oils or any kind of oils out of there. It allows the particles to actually bind a lot better. All right, let's see. All right, email sent out to Aquaforest. Let's see what they say. You're fine, Tim. Usually people that make the protein skimmers, they don't use any kind of bad oils or anything like that. Um, that's usually why they say give it 2 weeks or a week to break in. So by the time those oils get broken down, it'll be good. Yeah, I'm sure they are, Bubba. All right, let's see. Yeah, and see, with the Dr. Tim's one and only, and those bacterias that do say cycleless start for a tank. One sec. I got Nios Quantum 160. Oh, that's a great skimmer, bro. Yeah, those Nios skimmers are amazing. I wish they made a nano. And I've lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh yeah, about the quick cycles. But I already told you that, Bubba. Let me see if CChem has anything on their stability about what strains they use. Stability. Oh man, I wish, but that's not gonna fit in a Nuvo 40. The biggest I can fit is like 4 inch by 3.7 inch. That's my biggest chamber in the back. If I had a sump, I definitely would, brother. I definitely would. See, none of these bottles tell you what strains of bacteria are in it. Yeah, I'm really debating, Tim, if I should get a brute, take out the water out of my tank, put the corals in the brood as well, and get the fish out, and then drill the back where my all-in-one chamber is, the filtration chamber, um, and put a sump to it, because I know the back glass is not tempered, so it's drillable, and that way I'll be able to have a nice skimmer. But that's a lot of work, and I'm doing fine so far with the Tunzi, the 9004. Been able to keep my phosphates at 0.02 to 0.05, and Nitrates are, so I haven't tested nitrates in a very long time. I think I tested for nitrates during my cycle, which was like a week, and then I stopped testing them. I ended up getting the Nios nitrate test kit, which I've heard is really, really good, and I wanted to see for myself. I got that thing, and you wouldn't believe, man. I tested my nitrates, and their little sheet that shows you how high it is based off of color, 1 and 0 ppm of nitrate. So I'm pretty happy with the results of that. Marine Pure is doing its job. If I do end up having issues with my tank turned to shit. What happened to your tank, Tim? What's wrong? Yeah, Bubba, so far so good with the tank. That's what I was about to say, is that at this point, um, it's running good. The skimmer's keeping up. My macro reactor is keeping up. The GFO's in there doing its job. But if I do start noticing an increase in nitrates and phosphates, and those things can't keep them under check, then I will definitely end up pulling everything out, drilling the back, and doing a separate sump for it. CJ just started a stream too. Yes, he did. Everyone's streaming. That's awesome, though. That's what YouTube's for, man. Everybody's free to stream and jump around. Oh, wow, Tim. See, that's why vacations scare me. That's why with tanks, you always need somebody that can tank sit for you, just in case. Yeah. Today I noticed on one of my acros, my smooth skin acro, there's a little blotch on it that I'm not liking. I know it's not RTN or STN because it's literally in the middle of the acro itself. I hope it's not flatworms or red bugs. I dipped everything before I put it into the tank, but that scares me, man. We shall see. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. That's no good. Did you have a big spike in nutrients? Sorry if I'm a little quiet. I'm doing some reading at the same time. Trying to see if any one of these freaking companies list what bacterias they use. Oh yeah, for sure it will. Well, I'm sure you know, just water changes, brother. Get it down. Oh, there we go. Wow. I did not expect that. So Biospira actually provides the bacteria strains they use. Nitrococcus, Nitrosomans, Nitrospira, and Nitrosospira. Huh, okay. That is interesting. And I know I butchered some of those freaking bacteria names. See, now that I have that information, I would really love to obtain what strands either one of the other companies use and to see the differences in them. Oops, did I press something? Nope, never mind. Let's see. You can, I guess you can patent the blend of bacteria, but I don't know. I don't think you can patent bacteria itself. That's a little crazy. All right, let's check. That's very interesting that they have that patented, that's for sure. Hmm. And see what I was saying earlier, Bubba? These are all strains of nitrifying bacteria. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4 strains. So this probably has denitrifying bacteria as well. I'm gonna do some research and see what each strain does, what the Nitrococcus does, and the Simonis and the Spira. We'll see. Now is my studying time. Nitro bacteria. There we go. Under the nitrobacteria. 16S RNAG. Okay. Okay. So the Nitrococcus is the bacteria that oxidizes nitrite into nitrate. All right. Let's check this. All right, where are you? Okay. See, I knew that was familiar. So, Bubba, the Nitrosimonas is actually one of the strands that I used in soil as well. And the Nitrosimonas oxidizes ammonia into nitrite. This is interesting. Sorry, I'm quiet, guys. Just reading. Ah, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. Wow, that's funny. So the bacteria, uh, what is it called? Nitrospira is completely, if it's a beta nitrospira, it's completely useless uh, for marine because it'll only live in soil. Now, if it's a nitrospirae, then it can survive in soil. Okay, and it's interesting if they actually use the correct one in the Biospira. Let's see. Okay, so the Nitrospira is another uh, nitrifying bacteria that turns nitrite into nitrate. All right, let's see what else we got. Huh. Okay. So they have a completely useless bacteria inside the bottle, which is the Nitrospira, which is for soil. Now the Nitrospira, that one's fine. Interesting. Why would they have that in there? Yeah, some SPS can take a beating, that's for sure. Copy. There's some good info. Bubba, you here? All right, since everybody else is streaming, I'm going to cut my stream short. Get on some other time. I now have a little project to do.